Good morning, everybody. So here I am, albeit a few years later, but yet again, making comment about nurses in the spotlight. So a few years ago, it was that wonderful Joy from The View who made in hindsight, probably not as ignorant comment as what is happening in the media today. In today's media, as of Friday, this senator from Washington or wherever the hell she's from made probably one of the most offensive comments I have ever heard when it comes to nurses. She has said that nurses don't deserve mandatory breaks or something to that effect. That's the topic at hand on the floor, is something to do with mandatory breaks in critical access hospitals, which I work at, a critical access hospital, and said that the nurses basically just play cards all day long. So much like I offered to Miss Joy from The View, Senator, I am offering you to come hang out with me for a week. You come to me in June, because June seems to be a little bit busier than we are right now. So definitely wouldn't want you to come right now, because I wouldn't want you to see those decks of cards we have hidden in the drawers. But even still, even today, even this week, come hang out with me. Watch me. You go where I go. You break when I break. You take the phone calls that I have to take for my physicians, because it's more than just playing cards. It's more than just we don't get breaks. The reason it's important that nurses get breaks, the reason it's important that any person in the healthcare field gets breaks is because we know that this job is more than a physical thing. We have so much more emotion going on. I work in the happiest unit, what's supposed to be the happiest unit on the planet, right? L&D is supposed to be the happiest place ever, except it's not. You don't know what it's like when a woman's husband gets arrested in front of her while she's in labor. You don't know what it's like when they come in because they feel their baby is not moving and dad is pacing because he's scared to death as his mom, the mom has to come back for 5 minutes by herself so we can get her to go pee. I mean, simple things. Do you know what it's like, Senator, to have a doctor scream and yell at you on the phone because his patient isn't delivering on the time frame he thought they should be? I've had that happen in my 12 years of being a nurse. It's ridiculous. You've no idea what it's like when you go into a room and you help a patient to the bathroom, and while you're in the bathroom, she tells you her boyfriend's beating the crap out of her. You've no idea what it's like 6 weeks after you delivered a patient to be called to the emergency room to help with resuscitating that same infant because it got run over. There's a lot of happy in my job, but there's a lot of not. There's a lot of not. And it's hard when you've been going for 10 hours and you've yet to have a lunch break. It's absolutely ridiculous, your statement, to say that we don't deserve mandatory breaks because we're getting them. We're just playing cards all day. If that's what you think of a nurse, maybe in some roles nurses get to sit a lot, but I don't get to sit a lot. And most hot nurses in critical access hospitals do not get to sit a lot. That's why they're critical access hospitals, because those are the facilities that take the patients in areas that don't have immediate access to them. Excuse me. I think you need to really, Senator, take a little time before you stand your butt up in front of Congress and in front of the Senate. I think you need to take a little time and do a little bit more research about why you're opposing this bill, about why exactly you're making these statements and where you got these ideas from. Any nurse in this country, I am sure of it, will be happy to let you stand next to them and show you exactly what it's like. My hospital actually does this with our senior administration. They send them down to the floor Every senior administration comes down at least once a month and shadows with a nurse for a minimum of 4 hours. A minimum, depending. And 4 hours still isn't enough to show them what's going on. But that's how they stay connected with their frontline staff, because that's what we are. Look up the USA article from Route 91, because that's where I work, at Route 91. The hospital at Route 91 took the most patients from. Go look up the USA article about my ER. Look at the pictures online about my ER from Route 91. You know what you don't see in those pictures of the bloody floors and the nurses standing around? Those women in blue scrubs, they're not even ER nurses, they're pediatric ER nurses. People from my unit, labor and delivery, got pulled into ICU because they had ICU experience. Nobody. My manager, my labor and delivery manager, got pulled in from home in the middle of the night. Left her children at home in the middle of the night to come sit at work and help families identify their family members, either alive or dead. And we're in the happiest unit on the hospital. So Senator Walsh, I think maybe you need to do a little research and take a little time to look at what exactly nurses do and exactly why that's important. I wish I had known this bill was on the table. I had no idea this bill was on the table. So I'm kind of glad you made your ignorant statements. It's brought it to the front lines for a lot of us. But you know what? Nurses are a strong group, and not a single one of us is gonna back down and allow you to speak about this profession in the way you have.